Did you know what you wanted to have curated before you started writing for the album? Was there an image? Did you, as a band, have an image of what the album would be?
I guess not. I mean, because we, well, what was it, 25 songs or nearly 30 songs were done for the album? And it's kind of like the album could have been very different in terms of which songs made the final cut. Yeah, I guess they just thought like some songs that kind of developed over the last 2 or 3 years, ones that you thought initially were going to be guaranteed nailed on to be on the album, and kind of fallen away as new ones have come through. And yeah, I guess it's been like a kind of like an evolving sort of process in terms of what's kind of made the final cut, so to speak.
I think there was definitely we were just making a lot of music up until the end of last year, and then this song Warmth came about, and it's kind of that sort of writing that song and realising what it was about became like the backbone of the album, and it was something on which we could kind of incorporate all the songs that we'd written before and then write a bunch of new ones. And it was really, that was when we realised that right, the album's going to be called Wild World, and it's, you know, it's loosely about the world seeming quite fucked up and not really knowing how to respond to that, and trying to get your head around it, and losing yourself in situations and in people, because generally human relationships and friendships and stuff are brilliant and complicated and messy, but they're funny, and you know they're the things that kind of that make everyday life, you know, what it is. And that was that sort of, yeah, like I said, it kind of became the backbone of the record. And
what sparked that song? Was there something specific that sparked that?
Yeah, it was like watching the news towards the end of last year, and just that feeling of like, holy fuck, you know, this is depressing and kind of incomprehensible, and you know, like, you know, watching it like and it's sticking with you, and you know, there are definitely points at the moment where like there's a collision of events in the world and politics and you know. That sometimes piled up on top of each other, you're just like, you know, I think you'd have to be psychotic to not respond to it in a way that's like, geez, like, what the fuck, man? So yeah, it was definitely that. But you know, the news can feel super dramatic, and then everybody's got to wake up the next day and go to work and stuff, and you know, and pay the bills and like, you know, so it's just it's complicated, and there's, you know. This album for us was just about, in some way, reacting to that, you know, and not offering any answers or any sort of great insight, because we're just four idiots in a band. But it's, you know, it's just about, yeah, just I guess trying to ask questions of it and look at like, well, how there's no answer, but how do you respond?
Well, yeah, did it help you form a better understanding of what was going on, or at least did it purge certain feelings about it?
No, I didn't. No, not at all. because like I said, like it's not about like, you know, there are songs that heavily gesture towards, you know, what's going on politically at the moment or whatever, but at no point are we saying like this is right and this is wrong, and you know, and you should be thinking this. It's very much us just being like, this feels fucked up to me, and I don't know how to compute it. And it's, you know, it's meant to just be like a kind of human response. It's not, there's no like big message. It's not that kind of album, we're not that kind of band. It's just as humans and human beings and everyday people just reacting to like this stuff that is. And I don't think there is no answer, you know, like everyone's going to react differently, and it depends where you are in the world and what you think and how much you care, like there's, you know.
But it is interesting because, well, the first album was written before you had any, before you were famous, let's say. So was it different then, with what you mentioned just now, to write knowing that you had an audience?
Maybe, I guess. I mean, like,
but I don't know, because the whole process, I guess, like, is like Dan's never stopped writing ever. Basically, it's not like there was a period sat down like, right, guys, here's what we must achieve, that sort of thing. It's just, yeah, just songs kind of come and go, like you said earlier, like different themes, different kind of scenes, if you will, from like films, sort of thing. Like, yeah, just different stories and whatever. Like, yeah, it wasn't like there was like a certain pressure, like we must.
Okay.
tick these certain boxes.
I guess
for each song.
if anything, it's just really nice that people will listen, hopefully, to the album. You know, but we don't take anything for granted, and you know, and B, I think the most important thing is just to make songs that we kind of we're excited by and we're proud of. And I think, you know, this album feels like you know, in a lot of ways, it's incredibly a Bastille album. You know, it's very much us, but also I think there's a lot of things that are very different to the last one as well. So it's just, you know, I think we're sort of trying to satisfy ourselves as much as possible and have fun with it, I think.
When did the decision come? Because you wanted to, I think, to have a little bit of more guitar on the record. When did that mentality come, or that decision?
Ages ago.
Yeah, quite a while. There was the first time we didn't have any, and it became a bit of a challenge not to use guitar at all. But then, by the time that we'd sort of done the deluxe version of the first album, we'd already started incorporating.
Was it
guitar.
The Draw? Was The Draw?
Yeah, The Draw was the first proper record that we. But I mean, I've played guitar since I was sort of 10, so I was always quite keen to play guitar. And then, yeah, once we opened the floodgates, they had trouble getting me back in my box. Guitar on everything for a while.
At the beginning, we were like, oh my god, we've got these, like, fuck, there's this thing called a guitar and it sounds really different, and you know, that was really fun. And
Kyle was always a bit upset at rehearsal. I remember once we had to have a little sit down, he's like, are we sure this is what we want to be doing? Kyle was really not. But you've come around with it.
Are we sure we want to go down this route? No, definitely. As in, it's opened up my. I've like just been in this band in general has opened up my like sort of different music genres and styles and stuff. And well into it now.
We slapped a bass on Kyle for one of the guitar songs, and suddenly he was a rock star.
I was like, it was like right. So we got a song, and there's this like really heavy guitar-y kind of grungy version. I was like, oh, okay. And then they're like, all right, and you got to play bass. I was like, what? It's all backwards now.
Yeah. But then
that was kind of the point of that song. Like we did this song, The Draw, because it was like, right, let's go as grungy as we can and heavy. And when we play it on stage, for a while, it was about, like, it was so far from everything else that it was like, we were almost like pretending to be this other band. And then it was like, let's strap on instruments we don't even fucking play and just go for it. And I think the process of doing that and kind of like just not giving a fuck then led to that sort of becoming a huge part of our identity as a band, and of genuinely not caring about genre. And like, you know, I think when we started Bastille, a song like Blame or a song like The Draw would have probably slightly horrified me and Kyle. You know, it was never like part of the intention, but I think a big part of the last few years is realising that what's great for us about being in this band is that as long as we're doing it, we can kind of do whatever we feel like, in as much as Blame is like a rock song, and you know, Send Them Off is like a hip hop track with us singing on it. You know, it's kind of, and that's exciting for us. You know, and hopefully people, you know, fans of ours and people who don't like us or whatever, it will, you know, it's something that will be interesting for them. And I guess this album, we sort of, you know, we just didn't want to repeat the first one, and I hope that people kind of who liked it will come along with us on this and enjoy it for what it is.
Well, finally then, because I think my time's almost up, but we've mentioned the visual aspects of the music. In that sense, would you say the music drives the lyrics?
It completely depends, I think.
Okay.
Often I just get ideas, and sometimes lyrics and music will come at the same time. I don't know, I guess it's different from song to song, but it's rare. Normally it kind of all just comes at the same time. And it's rare that I'll be like, right, I want to write a song about this. You know, like right. It's not really that process, but often I'll have a bunch of lyrics and some melodies, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, the song's going in this direction, or, you know. But, I don't know, like Four Walls, I was reading In Cold Blood by Truman Capote, and it was really sticking with me, and that just became a song. It wasn't like, right, I want to write a song in response to this book. So, yeah, I don't know. It's different every time.
And then a very last question, because you mentioned that mentality of not really caring what people think or what you do. Is that easy to do if your first record is a #1 record?
I don't know. I mean, I think...
I wouldn't know, because I don't know anything different.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, I think if anything, maybe we should care loads more. And obviously we care deeply. Like, we love this album and we want people to like it, but we can't control that at all. And you know, we were so lucky to have the first album do what it did.
I think if it does have an effect, it's not a conscious one made by us. It will just be, it will just be that, like we are just now like a combination of our past experience, and therefore it like, I guess it does have an effect, but it's not like, but not in the sense that, right, like there's pressure on us now to do this, right, and so we have to force this thing. But yeah, like it's definitely not a conscious one made by us. Sort of.
I think it's more. It's also about just, you know, we've been doing this now for 3-4 years and well, longer for, you know, but like it's just about us having become really comfortable with doing what we do and enjoying it, and you know, not really trying to be like anybody else. I think is the whole thing that we've realised is what makes us Bastille and what makes it kind of like fun and challenging and interesting, and yeah, like we've got no idea how people are going to respond to the album or what's going to happen, and that's, you know, it's quite exciting. But you know, with the first album, we also had absolutely no idea. You know, nobody foresaw the success that it had, and you know, and it's amazing for us to have had that as something that's part of our lives, and you know, hopefully it will continue. But who the fuck knows? We could be, we you know, I think the way we're looking at it is like it would be amazing to be able to make a third album in the same way that we made the first one. We just thought like, fuck, wouldn't it be great to be able to make a second one? So we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.